Either he falls in love with you at first sight, or he is enchanted by the aura you exude from inside out. Because this song gives me such a feeling. I don't think it matters what you look like in his eyes, the feeling of loss is a strong one. He has a warning for you, he is attracted by you, he is fascinated by you. No matter what you do, in his eyes, everything you do is good. Even if you do something not so good, he'll still think it's okay. Very cute, or that is very right. She should do it this way. She thinks it's not wrong. Oh, of course, it's about what you might be doing. If others do it, he might think it's not okay, but if you do it, he'll feel there's no problem, it feels right, kind of like that. I think he's a bit love-brained towards you. This can also be considered love-brained. I think there's a filter. I feel a bit of that kind. Should use a different word. It's kind of like that feeling when blood comes out of a lover's eyes. I think if you ask this person, he will definitely support your action. Especially if you ask the opposite sex. I believe this person will like you. 100%. If you ask the same sex, I believe if his gender is the same as yours, he likes you. He likes the opposite sex. I think if you were to change your gender, he'd still fall for you. He'd have this strong admiration for you, sort of like seeing you through rose-tinted glasses. Anyway, no matter what you do is right, even if you do something that makes him disgusted, annoying things. Anyway, as long as it happens to you, it can explain itself. Comfort your own feeling. Although it's quite wonderful, it's all about this group. For this group, I think you are considered a very spiritual fire sorcerer in the eyes of others. Men have the ability to mingle with people. I think if you can freely choose your own profession or do something you are good at, I think you should. You are very suitable, or say very skilled at being a life mentor, love mentor, or philosopher. Because I feel you have a lot to share. He's really good at comforting people or understanding them. People come to you for advice because whatever happens, your friends always turn to you. In your words, you also use your own way. Some life experiences or your own some orders. Then, I think you guys did a great job consoling and comforting him. You all seem to have a strong sense of youth and capability, and I would think actually you should have been quite mature from childhood. You would be more mature than a child. Your psychological age should be older than your actual age, and I would think actually you guys probably have some level of experience as well, right? Or you could say you've been through some pretty big setbacks. If not, I think you're a person who is good at thinking. That's you. You like to introspect, to think about people relations. It's like trying to figure out what kind of person you are and what kind of relationship it is. You get a feel for it all. However, I feel that you often, if someone is highly adaptable, they tend to go with the flow, but they might also be quite sensitive. Or you might be more sensitive to what was said. You are very emotional people, but you are also easily hurt by emotions. May inadvertently hurt you. So this statue of King Wen, although said that you guys, you're quite empathetic and really good at it, but actually, you should learn a sudden realization. This term seems to have been quite popular recently. Actually, I think you should also look up some information about it, some material about sudden realization, or so-called some numbers. You might also be teaching yourself to learn slowly. So the babies in this group, in each other's eyes, you are actually a very excellent person. I admire you a lot of the time, actually. Whether he is your friend, lover, or anything else, he probably thinks you can help him grow or learn something. That's all the content about this group. What do you look like in his eyes? Now please choose the one that resonates with you from the following 3 instruction cards. I
I think the babies in this group are a bit polarized in each other's hearts.
When he first met you, it was like this. As he observed or interacted with you further, he would find that you have changed into another look. It's very contrasting. The first impression of you is actually quite reliable, old-fashioned, well-behaved and cultured. An image of a good child, a good student, anything related to these words he thinks are applicable to you. And he would think that you can live your life very well, very neat. But in fact, when he gets to know you more, he'll realize that you are a careless person as you, always dropping something or bending something that's you. Actually a bit confused. He might think you should be a very organized or rather rigorous person. On the contrary, you are a somewhat confused person and he will think you are diligent. But on the contrary, you are actually lazier. This time to play, you guys should have a bit of procrastination. It's a bit dragging. Maybe you have to wait until the last moment to do it. That kind of feeling is you guys. It's a very lazy feeling. It's a bit of that kind. Has a lazy feeling. And actually, the babies in this group seem to be quite weak on the outside. Just feel like looking at them. Just talking a little seems like there's no strength. Or it's white and fat and there's no strength anyway. It gives people a feeling, you seem delicate and fragile, but in fact, you are quite fierce. In fact, you are quite a tomboy, in that you can solve many things on your own. You don't need others' help, but in his eyes, you are, no matter what you do, you need someone to support you. You need someone to help you feel. The first impression is that the more you feel, the more you interact with you, the more you feel, actually, you're very, very independent. You're just too independent. And your personality is actually very interesting. It may look like the first impression of him. You should be a person who's not easy to get along with. But as time goes by, it will have a discovery actually as it gets deeper with you or observes you. You are quite easy to get along with and your personality is very cheerful. That is to say, you might be a bit shy at the beginning and a bit slow to warm up. But once you get to know them, you'll find that you're quite a careless and big-hearted person, and you're not a very vengeful. So the image of you in his heart is actually quite polarized, but no matter what, there's a word that won't change. He seems to think you're adorable no matter what your character is. No matter how he reverses it in his day, he will think you're actually a very cute person. That's all about the J&E group. The babies in this group will definitely feel attracted by you, right? Probably attracted by your unique temperament or your appearance. She's confused, right? She sees you as having this kind of filter. Whether you're in unrequited love, ambiguous, or the person you're asking about is your partner, huh? I think it's very likely that he actually has that love at first sight feeling for you. Or your opinions, or when you communicate with him, you always manage to attract his attention. And the babies in this group, you guys are relatively quiet. It just feels like a feeling very artistic, a feeling of having artistic cells. Then you also like to adorn your life, possibly like to post on social circles and such, and basically more inclined towards things you like. Inclined towards arts, like fine arts, music, movies. Stuff like painting gives people the feeling that you are very good at thinking, very fond of thinking, or want to delve into human nature. The literary atmosphere will be stronger. And actually, your dressing style, although it has a literary vibe, also gives off a sense of a lady of high society, as if the temperament is very good. In his eyes, the temperament is very good, I think. This is nonsense. I think it's just the way you believe her.